Very quick video. I'm not going to go into too much depth in terms of the game itself. I just wanted to do a quick little video on sort of what my first impressions are on Assassin's Creed Origin. Um, to be frank, it's pretty good. I've just managed to clear sort of the first city, and it's a absolutely excellent game. In terms of visual effects, super brilliant. So I'm gonna be running around the city just so that you guys can get an idea of sort of what it looks like, um, and sort of when I say good visuals, what I'm talking about. There's not a lot of guards in the city, so you won't see a lot of fighting in this short video that I'm going to do, just to sort of show you what the game looks like. Because like I said, I've just managed to clear the first city, so it is pretty barren from the baddies at the moment. So not a lot going on in terms of fighting, but I wanted to show you sort of what the landscape looks like. If you are thinking about buying this game, I would definitely recommend it, especially if you are a Assassin's Creed fan. I think what they've tried to do here is they've taken a lot of what works out of the other Assassin's Creed games and actually put it into this one. I've managed to sort of level up a little bit, unlock a couple of abilities. One of the abilities that I've managed to unlock is something called From Dusk to Dawn, and I'm going to show you what that looks like now. As you can see, it's night at the moment and the visuals are pretty good. But I'm gonna just use the From Dusk to Dawn ability just to show you what daytime looks like as well. There we go. And now you'll be able to see the city in the daytime. So I mean, if you look at visuals and Egyptian cities and references to Egyptian cities, I mean, you can see that the guys really went all out in terms of creating some of these temples and some of the elements, which is pretty cool. So let's just get into the game a little bit. So obviously the standard keys apply. I mean, there's you've got some weaponry available to you at the moment. I've got some swords, I've got some axes, some battle equipment, which is quite cool. In darker places, when you're exploring tombs, you, for example, have a little torch that you can use as well, which is quite nice. But I must be honest, I quite like the sword. You've obviously got your bows as well. In this game, you've got quite a number of bows. You've got some hunting bows, you've got some actual fighting bows, which is quite cool. Then another feature which I think is vastly improved from the other Assassin's Creed games is your eagle vision, which in this case, I'm going to show you now, is an actual eagle. And you can track certain things. Oh, apparently there is going to be some fighting. Let's just see if they actually want to fight with me. Yeah, they decided to ride away, as I thought. Anyway, let's go back to Eagle Vision, because I wanted to show you how this works. And what I like about it is you can actually use the eagle to explore quite a bit of the city. Now the Eagle Vision, interestingly enough, you can zoom in, you can mark enemies on the ground, which is interesting, and then you can actually mark a particular target as well. So for example, there's some loot that I can go and collect, which I'm going to do right now once I go out of Eagle Vision, and you will see that it has marked a location for me. Let me just fly back up there. It has marked a location. I can actually now go and loot, and that's 100 gold, which is pretty nifty. So what can you use gold for? You can use gold for a couple of things. You can use gold to upgrade your character. You can use it to buy certain things that you require from an inventory perspective. You can also use it to buy things that you are going to use. For example, a camel or whatever that you want to ride on. In this game you have a mount as well, which I'm going to show you in a little bit. Actually, let me show you the mount right now before I move on to what the actual inventory screens look like. So here we go. Here's our little camel, which we just called, and quite nifty for getting around if you needed to get around quite quickly. So I'm just going to ride up the hill here and then get off. Okay, so let's just have a very quick look at the inventory screens. So let's start at a particular side. Let's just call it target, so you can see right now where I am in the game, which is probably about maybe 6 or 7 hours worth already. Bearing in mind that I spent quite a bit of time, probably the first maybe hour and a half, 2 hours just exploring. You can see that I've managed to take out 2 of these guys already, and there's 3 left in this particular part of the game, and then of course that'll move on to the next section of the game. You also have your map, again very familiar from a Assassin's Creed perspective. You can zoom in and out. You've got your legend if you wanted to refer to what particular things on the map mean. That's quite good, quite cool. But if I can just show you guys something here for a second. I have explored maybe this part of the map over here, so where all the icons are, and that's about maybe 7 hours worth. And again, I mean, I wasn't in a hurry, so I was looking at the graphics, looking at everything that you can see around. But if I zoom out completely here, you can see that this is a very, very big open world. So if you're an open world character sort of person, you enjoy these sort of games, they put a lot of effort into this. Now also bear in mind that there are already 2 expansions available for the game. If you buy the gold pack or the season pass, you will get the 2 expansions with it. I did not do this as yet, but just from playing the game a little bit, I think I might actually will. And what the expansions will do is the expansions will actually expand beyond the map that you can see at the moment. So at the moment you're just looking at the standard game and the standard map, and you can see that it's absolutely huge. It's very, very big. Moving on to the quest menu, obviously there's a couple of quests available. You can obviously go onto a quest and mark it specifically if you want to follow any type of quest, so very self-explanatory. From a gear perspective, you can see that you've got some bows, you've got a mount, you've got a couple of outfits. One thing that I've noticed about this game is that you have many outfits, because there are people who you can actually buy different outfits from. So I know a lot of the Assassin's Creed fans, half the to sort of look like an assassin. You can do some crafting. Crafting is quite interesting, and I'll tell you a little bit about crafting. If you look at the crafting menu, you'll see I've got 4 of 14 leather and 16 of 20 usable rock. So these are minerals that you actually find throughout the world. For example, the leather, you have to actually hunt different animals to get leather. You have to hunt birds if you need feathers for a particular upgrade or whatever may be the case. But you can upgrade things like your quivers. You can obviously there's things that I haven't unlocked yet, but your gloves, your braces, your breastplates, that sort of thing you can upgrade. And then just in terms of weapons, there is a whole host, right? So you've got everything from swords to particular sickle blades, heavy blunt armor, heavy blades, scepters that you can use, spears that you can use, and then obviously there's some unarmed functionality as well. So just the array of weapons is just, it's huge, it's very big. So besides that, you obviously got your shields, and the shields range in terms of capability and strength and quality and those sort of things. Some of them have quite nice designs, like the one that I'm wearing now. Actually, I got that out of the Ubisoft store, because obviously the game is Ubisoft integrated. So in your Ubi store, you can actually redeem some of your UB points if you want to, you know, maybe buy some gear or whatever may be the case. So that's sort of the gear scheme. It's very involved. I'm not going to go into today's video exactly what everything means in terms of quality and damage and you know, the attributes associated to each weapon, for example, critical rate, strike, and that sort of thing. Again, this is just a very quick overview to show you what the game sort of looks like. Then this is very complex. This is your ability screen, and like I said to you, you can see that I've unlocked a couple of abilities. The one that I showed you earlier, which was from dusk to dawn, is that ability over there that says that you can switch between day and night by letting time pass. Of course, it's a real-time game, so if you don't have this ability, you will have to wait for it to get night if you prefer to do a mission at night. Obviously what the game does, just for interest sake, is if it's night time, some camps are less alert than others. You have less guards patrolling the area, whereas daytime there's a lot more guards. Other camps are the other way around. There's a lot more guards patrolling at night time than during the day. But it depends on the mission that you do, whether it's a quest or a side quest or whatever may be the case. It really depends on the particular mission, how that'll work. But there's a lot of abilities here, and they range primarily through three different areas: the hunter, the warrior, and the seeker. The hunter is very much focused on sort of long range combat, warrior very close range, and then of course your seer is very focused on sort of tactical things, for example smoke bombs or fire. Or you can see that the next ability that I would like to unlock here is sleep darts, because I was quite a fan of the sleep darts in previous Assassin's Creed, but you get things like fire bombs and those sort of things. So the seer ability is very much the tactical sort of abilities that you have. Warrior very close range combat, fighting, you know, maybe with swords or axes or whatever. And then hunter is obviously, you know, a little bit more long range. Then just very quickly your inventory screen, and this is where you rack up everything that you've picked up and items of interest and quest items. So you can see there's a couple of items in each. And just to give you an idea in terms of the bows, what I was referring to earlier, there's, for example, you get your hunter bow, you get light bows, warrior bows, and then you get something called the predator arrows, which is primarily for your predator bows. So that's 4 classifications of bows, and they each do sort of different things. The one is you know, very precise aims, you know, sort of has a very good aim ability, which is the hunter bow. Your light arrow bow is one that fires consecutively, so you can fire quite a number of arrows, you know, one after the other. But the warrior bow is probably the one that works similar to something like a machine gun. This thing just keeps on firing arrows all the time, and then that's obviously a heavy bow, so you know, it's got bigger arrows and kills bigger enemies as well. Unfortunately, I've not unlocked any predator bows, so I can't really, you know, tell you too much about that at this point. But yeah, that's sort of just an overview for you. Something else that's interesting as well is that you can see that you, as you go through the game, you also pick up these things they call trinkets, which is, well, they're not collectibles. They are things of value that can be resold for money. And you can see here at the bottom, it'll tell you how much you will get if you sell all these trinkets. I don't really, you know, carry a lot of these around, so whenever I have them, I just go to the shop and sell them. I haven't figured out yet whether they have any other purpose, but by the look of it, it doesn't look like it. Something very interesting that you can do as well is, if you have a look at the top over here in terms of resources, you need the resources obviously for crafting and for making things at particular stores. You could actually, within your gear area, if you go to, let's say for example, let's just pick any weapon, you can see that your little square button will actually disassemble this weapon, and what will happen is you will get some resources out of this weapon. So if it's a sword, for example, you might get some leather and some steel, and that will go towards your inventory in terms of your resources, so that you are able to craft if you, for example, need metal or leather or whatever may be the case. Then of course, just from you know, from a hunting perspective, you can see I've killed a leopard, I've killed a couple of hyenas, a couple of vultures, and then obviously a whole bunch of gazelles. And this was to collect the leather to upgrade or do my initial upgrades. of my braces, and I think I also upgraded my stabilizer gloves, which was quite interesting. So that's very quickly the view over there. I'm not going to go into the store today. With the store, it's in-game purchases, so sort of real life money that you are spending to buy certain things. You can, customize your mounts, customize or upgrade your character's outfit. You can get a whole bunch of other weapons. Maybe just for interest sake, you can see that the season's pass is quite expensive. It's around 629 rand, and if you bought the base game, that would have cost you about 1,000 rand. So for 1.5 you can get the full game plus the season's pass, or you can just buy the gold edition, which I think is around 1,350 rand. So you could save yourself about 350, maybe 400 rand if you buy the gold edition outright, because the gold edition will come with the season's pass attached to it, and of course also both the upgrades or the DLCs. Alternatively, if you just want to buy the base game and maybe just the DLCs, those can be purchased in something called the Deluxe Pack, which is about 159 rand on the PSN store at the moment. So that's sort of the overview of the store. Maybe let me just show you the add-ons. You can see you can either buy the season's pass, and there we go, it's the deluxe pack for 159 rand, and the 2 add-on packs. This is sort of, call it cheat packs if you want. They are packs that you buy, and inside there are some weapons that you may or may not find within the area. Personally, I sort of try and steer away from these. I think sometimes these sort of packs take a little bit away from the game, but each to its own. I guess you can buy it if you want. You can also obviously buy the gear directly. You can see that there's quite a bit of gear there. Time savers. Of course, we don't always have a lot of time to game, so there's some resources specifically, some resource specific packs or some gold specific packs that you can buy in there. Helix credits is obviously the currency that they use within the store. You can see that it is not a cheap currency. It's quite expensive. And then you can also see at things that are owned. And just for interest sake, you'll see that these all have a little icon at the top that says club, because they are the ones that I redeemed through the Ubisoft Club using my Ubi account. So that's pretty much the overview, guys. I wanted to just very quickly sort of show you what the game is, what it looks like, what it's the sort of gameplay. Well, I didn't really show you much gameplay. I showed you a little bit of running around and what the graphic looks like. I will at some point do some mission videos as well, if you guys would like. This is obviously not so much an online sort of game as what I'm normally playing, or especially from an RPG perspective. So if you would like to see some mission videos, let me know. But if you're thinking about this game, hopefully this video has given you some insight as to some of the things that you can do. From a store perspective, I mean, for those of you who have never played Assassin's Creed, and I'm not sure how many people there are that's never played Assassin's Creed, but if you haven't, obviously the game also has a lot of stores where you can upgrade gear, buy clothes, create things, craft things. So all those standard features are still available, as was with a lot of the other Assassin's Creeds. So hopefully this video has helped you a little bit. Let me know if you guys would like to see more. Don't know if there's many Assassin's Creed Origin players out there yet. The game only released yesterday. So if there are guys that are hardcore Assassin's Creed fans, let us know and we can do some more. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Yakusawa, see you later.